You
All
sure it's not
right.
gonna kick? Are we sure it's not gonna kick us off?
Nope. In five, four, three, two, one. Heyo, welcome to the Boston Sports Brothers. We're minus one brother, but we got another brother back in J Matt. We got a little bit to talk about in the Boston sports realm. It's a little gloomy, but you know what? We'll try and make it as positive as possible. Boys, how we doing tonight?
Doing well, I was doing do
Going
as well as you
on?
can in the wasteland of early summer.
We're doing okay, but I think your talks about there's a lot of gloom and doom out there, but there are some things that make us happy, and I think let's kick it off with the NBA, right? Obviously Celtics, we covered it last week. They got eliminated by the Knicks, but oh, so sweet is it to see the Knicks get eliminated by the Indiana
Bing
Pacers.
boing.
What did we
Bing
say? What did we
bong.
say
Bing bong,
last
bing
week?
bong.
Hey, you want
Don't
to?
celebrate a second round win.
Well, and I think this is like the big distinction here. Like, I do actually, for the most part, I don't hate the Knicks players and the Knicks team. Maybe Cat because he's a little sassy bitch. He is a sassy bitch. You see that
He's
pass that he
zesty.
did you see that pass
Oh,
that he
spicy.
made? Oh, it was spicy.
Spicy.
But like it's the fans. The fans are
Yeah,
the
no, it's
problem,
the fan
and
base.
and
The
it's
fan
not
base.
people like Producer Bernie. Like we like Producer Bernie. Producer Bernie, obviously a big part of the show. Big fans of him. And what he brings to the table, and he is legit. He wasn't rubbing anything in our faces. So
No,
this is not meant to be directed at our producer Bernie. Bernie, we love you.
it's
This is meant for
it's
others.
the ones that will post like 85 times in a night or just and it's just yeah. The ones throwing garbage at Indianapolis fans and just it was
Yeah. Well,
Celtics W.
I mean, and a lot of New York fans would say we're super salty because the Knicks beat us in the second round. Like, why are we talking shit? But it's really not, again, Eric, it's not about the team. The team is actually pretty likable, but
Yeah, they're a very
um,
likable team.
it's the fan base. I mean, ripping off people's Celtic jerseys, throwing trash at that Indiana Pacers guy, like
Despicable.
it's like that's like Philly
Trashy.
level trash right there.
Oh, they're getting there.
And it's just so sweet. It's so much karma just to see them get bounced in the finals here,
You
Eastern
know what that
Conference.
is? It's they don't know how to win with
And
grace
Well,
because they've never won. And you want to it sounds
yeah.
crappy to say, but like act like you've been there. And
Well, they can't. They
even if
can't.
you haven't, imagine what winning grace really
But
feels
Eric,
like.
but that's because they think like getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, that alone is a successful season. When we want championships, like if we lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, we're not happy. They're happy that they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, which that's just what it is. That's the difference. Like that's a Knick
Yep.
fan. So it is what it is.
Well, and then I think before like we could beat this horse all day, but I think we got to talk about the other side of the bracket as well too. And you know, the Oklahoma City Thunder steamrolled the Wolves, and I thought the Wolves were a pretty decent team, and it wasn't even close.
I
They
I
absolutely
was
destroyed
expecting
them.
more of a fight.
Anthony Edwards got taken out of the equation, and like they forced him to pass the ball instead of shooting. And I just think like I think, and this is no disrespect to Indiana, OKC has got to be the hands-on favorite, and this is gonna go 5 or 6. The Pacers could surprise us. I'm not
They
gonna
might.
dispel to say that they're not. That I think this is honestly for the Thunder probably the hardest matchup that they could have with
Look at the
anyone that was
roster.
left. They're both deep. They both play tenacious defense and just run, 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 run. So I
And
actually think this is going to be a great finals.
I think it's actually gonna I think it's gonna go seven because and this is why and I give all right, talent wise I do give OKC the edge, but also understand that one of the Pacers' best players has been to the finals, has done this already. Siakam's been there and done that. So he is going to be able to reel those guys in. You know, he's gotten a little bit older. He's become a veteran in the league. He's going to be able to reel those guys in. Is OKC ready for that spotlight?
No,
Yes,
I
they
don't think so.
steamrolled through, but So did we, and we got matched up with Golden State, and what happened?
And they also have a great coach, Indy too. I mean, Rick Carlisle, you gotta have to throw
No
that
joke.
and the advantage there too. I'm honestly, who's the coach of OKC? I'm like not even sure. He's not a household name.
Daigneault,
Yeah,
Mark Daigneault, who's been there for a while. He's
I
been
mean,
Yeah.
he has, but he's not a Rick Carlisle who we all know, especially used to even coming with the
I
Celtics
I
route. But
I think you're sleeping on him, Josh. I think he's very Brad
no,
Stevens-esque, and like I'm not going to say that that guy's not a good coach because
I
the
didn't
proof
say
is in the
that, but
pudding.
I like Carlisle. I think Carlisle's proven. I think he's been in the league for a long time. I think he's been a player. He knows the game. I would give Carlisle the edge. I would.
I
You
think
know
from a
what?
Celtics perspective too, like there are a few wrinkles here too. Sorry, Gabe. Just
You're good.
Carlisle being on the '86 team, and obviously the ties he had to arguably the greatest NBA team of all time, and then obviously we got Aaron Nesmith, who at the end of the day, right now, I think we all agree that the trade was the right trade to make at the time to get rid of Aaron Nesmith. But oh man, Aaron Nesmith could make this trade look really bad in a couple of years if the Pacers take off and become a powerhouse. So just I think from those wrinkles, like I think there's clearly an affinity for us to be rooting for the Pacers, not because they're the Eastern Conference team, but because of some of the Celtics wrinkles. Gabe, take it away.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, viewership wise, I think Adam Silver is probably kicking himself right now just because OKC is a very small market in the NBA compared to New York or Boston or any of those other bigger teams. And then Indianapolis, kind of the same thing. It's a very niche kind of market as well. I mean, it's kind of like the land of basketball, but I think Adam Silver is the ratings are going to be real bad for this year.
Uh,
Unfortunately, I think they're both really talented teams, but I don't know. I'm not really interested in watching this finals matchup
but
if you
Gabe,
ask me personally.
I agree with you, but like they had Adam Silver in the back of his mind going into this year and how the year played out had to have OKC as a favorite to even get there. So you have the
Yeah.
small market there. And then Cleveland, who is the favorite, I would consider not even that big of a market too. So like going into the playoffs, like the one seeds weren't that big of markets. And then once the Celtics got bounced out, it was like you got what you got left. Like I agree with you, but I don't know. Yeah, I think he had to go into it thinking that it probably was potentially going to play out that way too, just the way that the seating was set up. But
I mean, but
obviously,
out west.
the Celtics going down was shocking to just say the least.
Yeah, I just think out west though, like outside of OKC, almost every other team that was in the playoffs, starting with Houston, Golden State, that series, they would be happy with either one of those markets. They're massive markets. Los Angeles with either the Clippers or the Lakers,
They're just not
be
as
happy with
good,
them.
those
Even
teams.
even Minnesota is a bigger market than OKC. So like
Yeah.
that probably would have been more preferable. It literally, I mean, and credit to the Thunder for just being a dominant force. There really was no one that was going to come out and stop them on the West. So good luck to both of those teams. I'm kind of with Gabe. I'm not as interested in this series as I probably would be if it was other teams. I'll still tune in. I'll still watch, but I'm probably not going to be waiting on bated breath like I would be if it was one of those bigger teams in the finals like we all hoped it would be, including us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. One thing I want to touch on, which was kind of interesting, was the trade between Minnesota and the Knicks. Who do you think got the better end of that trade? Because they both got bounced out in the respective conference finals, but I think personally the Knicks got the better end of the deal. But I'm curious what your takes are.
I
I
agree, just for the only reason that Randall's a free agent, and if he doesn't stick around, then like at the end of the day, like you have to give the
okay.
edge to the Knicks just due to
Okay.
that. But
Yeah,
but I mean, I at this point, I would say it was a draw. They both got better, and they both made it to
It's
the
true.
conference finals. But I think it really depends on what happens after this season, more so than how they measured up this season. That's my own personal take, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Julius Randle wasn't that much of a factor, I believe, in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, I mean, as much as, Karl Anthony Towns was for the Knicks, so I think that does go into play a little bit. But I
Yeah.
believe during the first round, he was just going off, and obviously throughout the regular season, he was doing really well as well. So, again,
I don't know if it's fair to compare the two of them though, because they also got a player in Dante DiVincenzo
well, that's
that
what
like
I'm saying. You have two
if you look at the
players
like the sum
versus
of what
one.
they got, yeah. So I think, yeah, I mean, and DiVincenzo,
There's no, I mean, he's a
was
good
pretty
depth
good.
piece. Yeah.
He's a
I
great
think
3-point shooter.
I think that's why it was a little disappointing that Minnesota didn't go give it a little bit more of an effort against OKC because they made some moves and they had a really solid team. And Anthony Edwards is all that talk. Did you hear what he said after the game? Like he wasn't really after they lost, he was like he basically brushed it off and was like, I get like I'm 23 sitting right next to Mike Conley, who's like what 35 plus, who's probably gonna retire soon. I'm like, ugh, kind of know where you're sitting right now. Not a great look.
Also, that team is going to get dismantled. Naz Mohammed, I think is his name, or
Nas Reed.
Naz
Nas
Reed. Sorry,
Reed.
Yeah.
Naz
Yep.
Reed. Naz Reed is going to be a free agent. He's a great big man. You have Julius Randle, who's going to be a free agent. I mean, that team is going to be different. So I don't want to sit here and talk about all about Minnesota, but I think at the end of the day, like they put all their chips in on the table to try and go somewhere this year, and it got them further than where they've gone in the past, but it didn't really get them over the hump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree. Definitely.
who's not getting over the hump pretty recently? The
And yeah,
Boston
I
Red
know. I was
Sox,
gonna say it
unfortunately.
was, you can go to the Nines one night and eat, and the next night you can't get
The
anything,
poor
and
kids, the
Yeah,
poor kids are
the poor
starving.
kids are starving over there.
the inconsistency of the kids eating from the Nines this year is just
Yeah.
It's just
crazy.
about as inconsistent as the Red Sox are in all three phases of the game.
Yeah, they
So
were at
yeah, I mean,
29 and 32. Not
so
great.
I mean, like let's just again, it's just there's just so many things going wrong with this team right now that it's just kind of hard to break down. They're just they're, like I said last week, they're not playing all three phases of the game. One phase is or two phases is showing up and the other one's not, and it's resulting in a loss. You got, I mean, we did get the win versus Atlanta, but Garrett Crochet's going out there friggin' pitching 7 innings, striking out 12, and like it's, I mean, obviously that didn't happen. That wasn't the Milwaukee game, but Milwaukee, that game was pretty comparable as far as stats goes, and it's just like it comes to a point where it's just like, okay, like what are we doing? And the biggest thing for me, and we were just what we were talking about pre-show, was the inconsistency with the lineups. And why that's such a big factor is because no one's getting comfortable because everyone's just a moving piece and they don't know where they're going to be that night. Like just like from now on, just keep Marcelo Mayer at third base unless he's hurt. Like, let the kid get his reps. Like, don't put Anthony Toro in. Before I hopped on, he fumbled the ball, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Like keep it consistent. Even if the guys that are at those positions aren't that good, keep everything else consistent because when you start playing with everything, it just throws everything out of whack. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen is like every night when the lineup cards come out, it's like I know who 1 and 2 is, but like from 3 to 9, I have no idea. It's a complete wild card, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, and Sam, why do you think Roman Anthony has not been called up yet? Because in my mind, that's just
Too many
kind of
rookies.
atrocious.
It's baseball
Contracts.
malpractice.
I
They
think it's
want to
too
hold
many.
on to
I
him.
think it's too many rookies in one lineup.
But
You're asking for a lot.
at this
Yeah,
point, they're already sucking as it is, so I'd rather have him come up and
But that's not the way they look at it. The way they look at it is what you said before our little pre-show is that they're 3.5 games out of a wild card, and that if they get hot, they can make a push. So they're not going to risk it by throwing in three rookies in a lineup where the kids still need to learn the game, like you're saying, and then also having that weight on their shoulders in a big market like Boston. It's tough on them. So I see why they haven't done it yet. And I also see the con being them being conservative. They don't want to ruin the kid. Like this, he's supposed to be the all-star, like the gem, like the diamond that you have, like that out of the three. So I see them being hesitant. Um, I, I definitely see it. It's just the too many injuries are getting to them right now. The pitching's being inconsistent. It's kind of a perfect storm of everything. Cora not really holding anyone accountable, and Devers kind of doing his thing still. He's hitting. Got to give him his credit where it's due. But there's just it's kind of too many things all at once kind of happening, and they're right in the ship a little bit, like with the 500 play. They're not getting in a huge skid, so you have to give them a little bit of um I wouldn't say like credit because they don't deserve it, but it's still early June. There is I don't want to say there's a lot of game baseball left, but there is, but they need to start doing it like we keep saying it now, but it has to be before the All-Star break. Like, give them a month and then
You want to what
call a
this
spade a
team
spade.
remind? You want to know what this team reminds me of? It reminds me of the Bobby V Red Sox. It just hit me right now where I'm like the
I don't
team
think
that is
so.
dysfunctional. I mean, here's the thing, like they may not be to that level, but they're heading in that direction. The way that Cora is managing, the way that Devers is conducting himself, it is so
So
ridiculous.
Big
They are
Poppy came out.
professionals.
Big Poppy came out and to Devers' defense and said to leave him where he's at DH. And I get where he's coming from because he's mashing the ball, but again, we're so depth lacking right now in position players that we need him on the field. But I don't want to move him because I don't want to mess with something that's working really well. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
thought you did want to move him, Sam. I thought you wanted to trade him.
well, no, not like that. Like I didn't want to like move him onto the field. Like I want to keep him where he's at his DH place. He's in a routine. He's got it figured out. He's mashing the ball. I mean, that's
I
that's
want him
that's just how
gone.
I look at
I,
it.
I want him. I want him out of here. At this point, if you're not going to be a team player, get the hell off my team.
You're gonna have to
Sorry.
find someone to eat that contract.
Someone. So I mean, hitting is a premium, and someone will want him because they will want someone to add to the lineup.
He's in a once in a generation bat that you would not want to get rid of. And
No,
I
here's the problem.
expected him to play DH, but I didn't expect him to be our full-time DH this soon.
No, the problem is they royally fucked up with Mookie Betts and then they fucked up with Xander Bogaerts and the fan base was going to revolt and they had to pay someone. So they paid Devers and candidly they should have paid Mookie Betts. They should have kept Xander Bogaerts. Trevor Story
Yeah,
We all know that.
sucks. I know. I mean, it's
yeah.
just it's again, it's part of the reason why I hate this franchise
Yep.
because they just can't get out of their own
It's not
fucking
the
way.
franchise, it's the ownership.
It's the ownership.
Well,
It's the general
front office,
managers.
yeah.
It's the front office, and I know that they get their edict from the ownership. But it's as a fan, it really makes me just like, why do I even root for this team?
But like as far as the Fenway Five goes, like they went out and they did what they were supposed to do. You know, Tristan Casas going down with, I believe, what was it, the ruptured patella. I mean,
Yep.
you, he,
That's
like
what
I
I'm
said
saying.
in an earlier episode, he was supposed to give you 20 to 30 home runs and
Yeah.
80 to 100
Him going
RBIs,
down, Bregman
and
going
then
down.
Bregman going down. That's your 3-4
Con
left, right. I mean, that's
Connor Wong
big.
hasn't hit an RBI, hasn't hit a run since
But
last year. It's
Navarez is a
last year.
way far better catcher, and I would rather have Navarez
No,
out there
I'm
because
I'm with you.
his metrics as far as catching goes are off the charts. And I want to get into the nerd
I'm
stats,
with
but
you. But
as far as
Rafaela
his
and Wong, they're giving you nothing.
nothing,
Nothing.
Well,
and they paid Rafaela not a lot, but they signed him to a long-term deal, and they are playing him every single day because of that, and they need to say fuck that, like bring the young kid up. You know what I mean? Like he's a lefty, let him go up against righties. I mean, yeah, let him go up against righties while
I
Rafael can go up against lefties.
One thing I also need to address in terms of the front office is the philosophy of the drive line philosophy. It doesn't work. I think it doesn't jive. They're striking out. This team is just striking out left and right. They
Would
10
you
Ks a night, 12 Ks a night. They're not putting
would
together
you
good
read
at
Ted
bats. So
Williams had a hit?
no, I'm just saying they're going with
So
this drive line philosophy, and I don't think
we
it
talked,
works.
it's the three, it's the big three. It's you're striking out, you're flying out, or you're hitting a home run. And
But
that's what this team's doing.
but they're
They're
not
swinging for
also
the
they're
fences. They're not
they're
passing the baton.
they're not playing small ball. I'm watching a game where they have a guy on first and second, no outs, and I'm like, why isn't this guy bunting? It's like
That's what I
I'm
just said. They're not passing the baton.
yeah,
They're not doing the little things.
but
They're either
say
striking out,
small
flying
ball.
out, or trying to hit a home run.
I know, and we're on the same page, Sam. But they're not doing the things and like playing small ball and they are running. I will say that they're definitely running. You have to give them that, but they're so inconsistent. They're a tough watch. Um, and we started the our show a little bit late tonight, and they're already down 5-0. It's very tough when they come out of the first inning already down 5 runs. It's tough to come back from. Can't
Hmm.
do it. Can't do it
I
night in and
agree.
night out.
No, I 100% agree. They need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out quick. Or if not, bring the young guys up here and let them figure it out on their own and let them
I
get into their
agree.
own
At
groove.
some point, if it's a lost season, just call it what it is and just bring up the kids and let them learn the game the hard way if they're gonna do it that way.
That's part of the
But
reason I was comparing it to 2012, not just from Bobby V, but also because it was a youth movement that year. So, I do think that there are shades of 2012 that are kind of shining through here so far in 2025. So maybe not to the
Well,
same degree of
hey,
a like terrible manager like that, but
what happened in 2013?
yeah, but I think that also had other things that were going on there because of things that happened in the city. And we can only hope that nothing like that ever happens in our city ever again.
And that team got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
But I don't want to jump back in the time capsule, but I watched those games religiously, and there were some veteran guys that played in the postseason. Um, so yeah.
How about we transition to talk a little hockey here real quick? And I think Gabe, do you want to give us a little update on where we stand with the Stanley Cup Finals?
Yeah, for sure. Stanley Cup Finals have been, I think we called it last week. Edmonton versus Florida is our matchup. You got the Florida Panthers staying away from the Eastern Conference Finals trophy, and you got Connor McDavid grabbing it by the horns. Typically is a sign of bad luck, but I guess he didn't touch it last year, so he's trying to change the juju up a little bit and get. I mean, I think Connor McDavid is destined to win a cup this year. I know that Florida Panther is they're just a team that can wear you down in 7 games and you know they could also very easily win the Stanley Cup this year, but I just something in my heart, in my gut tells me that Connor McDavid is due for his cookies this year, and I pick Edmonton to win the whole thing.
it's going 7.
Do we think
Yeah.
that do we think that the NHL Stanley Cup is going to get better ratings than the NBA Finals? Because I think there's a really good possibility that it does.
Hell
A,
yeah.
there's a Canadian team in, and
Yeah.
two, it's a rematch from last year. The two things that I think like give a little bit of juice to this matchup comparatively to the NBA one. So I think from a Bruins side too, like obviously there's some good juice here with we got Marchand on one side and we got Freddie on the other.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I do think one thing I just want to kind of shout on out. I think personally, I would love to see Edmonton win. I think it'd be good for hockey. I think it'd be good to see a Canadian team win. On a personal note, though, like I was feeling this way up until yesterday, and I think I might have switched my
USA,
allegiance.
baby.
I think I might have switched my allegiance to Florida a little bit, and I'll tell you why.
I want to see Marchie
So
win it, baby.
it's not even about that. I mean, that's a factor for sure.
My personal opinion is
Sure.
that
But here's a reason why, and I think this is why hockey might be one of the best sports in everything that's going on. Everyone knows Johnny Hockey and his brother got killed last year in a terrible accident. Um, they had a 5K that they organized for them. Not only did Florida, in the middle of their prepping for the Stanley Cup Finals, like want to participate. All of their players, their staff, and their coaching staff, and just anyone that works in the organization, all participated virtually to make sure that they were there to participate and fund and be a part of this 5K that was going on. So like to me, I think that's just like one of the things that makes hockey special is it transcends like the game. It's the brotherhood and I don't know. To me, I just kind of got like a little bit of a swell of emotion there, and I was like, I as much as I hate a lot of guys on Florida, like how can you hate guys that are doing stuff like that are stepping up and being, good in their not just for the community but for the hockey community. So good on them. And just want to say, like, again, another reason why hockey is such a great sport. It is a brotherhood.
Absolutely. And then, on the Bruins head coaching front, there have been some minor updates. Joe Sacco was officially told he will not be getting the job. I don't think that really surprises any of us. But it sounds like it's down to two candidates. Dallas.
Misha.
Yeah, I mean, Misha Donskov, Dallas Stars got kicked out of the playoffs. And it sounds like we're gonna get a decision this week. I think Misha Donskov is the dark horse here, and it wouldn't surprise me if Marco Sturm is the next coach of the Boston Bruins.
Misha, get me out of here.
The one reason why I don't want Marco Sturm, and like I just feel like he's got a tie to this like Don Sweeney, Cam Neely like organization thing, and like I just want to get away from that. I'm so in the fact that they re-signed Don a couple of weeks back to I think what was a 2-year extension or something like that. It just
Yep.
like makes me sick. So
Yeah.
Just to counter
I
that,
hope Misha gets it. Um, but like I don't even know much about this Misha person. So like who knows?
to counter it real quick though, like they brought in Monty, who really had no ties, and that didn't work. So I don't necessarily think it's like ties or no ties has an issue here. Just bring in whoever's gonna bring in
I
and coach
mean,
these guys up.
Monty worked for he did have a great regular season, and whatever happened in that playoffs wasn't great. They ran up against a couple great teams, but like I don't know, it did fall apart. But like I think the Montgomery thing was a successful overall if you look at it from a 10,000 foot view.
And you can see from St. Louis, like went in there and he had an immediate impact. So like I personally would like Misha over Sturm, but at this point, let's just hire someone and start moving forward with the offseason.
Yeah, they got to yeah,
And
yes.
I think expectations are pretty low. Like the talent discrepancy on this roster is pretty bad right now. I mean, I know they can change it through free agency and the draft, but any coach walking into that locker room right now is they don't have much to work with at the moment. So
No, they don't.
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Real quick, I don't know if you talked about this last week for the Patriots. I don't know if was it a story last week? Was the
No,
pink
No.
bag of
Nope.
drugs?
We
They call
did,
him
but
daddy for a pink
I don't know
bag
if we
of
talked
drugs.
about what exactly it was.
Shout out to Big Jim Murray because that bit, if you haven't heard it yet, is like one of the catchiest little songs that he's made. So,
I mean,
Jim Murray
Pink
is the
Pony Club
man.
is a jam.
it's great.
Jim Murray's
But-
the man.
so,
Always.
yeah, I think you got to keep him no matter what. No matter what's in the bag, you got to keep Stephon Diggs because
He
he's
was
worth it.
he was
So,
on the field today
he
with
is the bag.
with I think Polk maybe kind of
Yeah, I
talking to
saw that.
Polk. So
Boys.
I mean,
Boys, I got breaking
Whatever.
news.
What?
Plotty has just touched down in Boston. Let's go.
Love it. He's back.
feet
He's
on the
back,
ground.
whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, seriously. He's probably pissed back from the Euro trip.
I'm
Right.
sure he's ready to get home. Yeah, yeah. After a long trip, sometimes it's nice to be going home.
Well,
Yeah.
we love you, brother. We're glad that you're home safe.
One little quick little or Eric, do you wanna hit it real quick?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick. All right, this is my favorite time of the week. The things that that I hate, the things that make me go, yeah, oh, like get the hell out of here. And then there are things that are stupendous, fabulous, fantastic, things that I love.
Stupendous.
The things that make me stand up and go,
Extracalifragilistic.
oh yeah, who's got a yeah oh and oh yeah this week? Let's go.
I have a big oh yeah, and I mean, it could be a yeah oh depending on how you look at it, but David Andrews' retirement. I had that on in the background of on my TV today, and yeah, he was so emotional. He was very raw. You could feel it. Patriot through and through, drafted, never left. Always said he wanted to end his career as a Patriot. So big oh yeah for David Andrews in his retirement and his career as a Patriot. 2-time Super Bowl winner. Awesome guy.
Forever a Patriot, should be in the Patriots Hall of Fame at some point.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, to the Madden 2026 cover boy, Saquon Barkley. They're featuring his backwards hurdle.
Depending how
Could
you
be
look
a
at it.
yeah, oh, depending upon what happens if you believe in the Madden curse.
Oh yeah.
Watch
Oh,
out in your
yeah.
fantasy. Be careful in your fantasy drafts,
be
boys.
I
careful.
don't,
Yeah.
I'm not touching Saquon.
Oh
Even
yeah, fantasy. That's funny. It's funny. Yeah, no, I mean, the Madden curse is a real thing. So if you're a Philly fan, you have to be a little worried about that because, um, that cover's gone a lot of great ones, man, over the years. Holy crap. So yeah, got to be a little nervous,
And
Yeah,
it
which I'm
gave
and
me
okay
a
with. I'm
yeah.
okay with. I don't mind,
Got our alma
I got
mater
a
getting
yeah, oh, URI baseball just had a horrible showing in the regionals over this past weekend. Unfortunately, their game got delayed until like 11 p.m. or something like that. I don't even know why they forced them to play a game at that time. But
stupid.
they lost to get eliminated to Little Rock 22 to 10. Just an absolute poor showing. I mean, great season, but terrible showing in the regionals.
Agreed. Well, boys, I mean, I think we covered all bases on what is Boston sports this week.
as much as you
So,
can.
right, I
we'll,
know.
we'll, we'll be back again next week, near, far, wherever you are. We love you guys.
Later.
In and
Adios,
out.
fellas.